pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mayor Gerardo Anaya,
Present.
Vice Mayor Luis Galindo,
Present.
Councilmember Jesus Roldan,
Present.
Councilmember Miguel Villalpando,
Present.
Member Juan Castillo,
Present.
Councilmember Marta Gonzalez,
Present.
Member Lorena Delgadillo.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We're gonna move on, call to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address council? Good evening, Mayor and Council. Martin Porcia, 681 East 12th Street. Just remembering that address.
Welcome back.
I'm here today to, I know the city doesn't have the commercial trash pickup anymore. But I know as a resident and many residents, we still have a lot of items that are big that we need to discard. And it's hard to tear up a box that is the size of 7 by 5 or a big sofa. Now sofas come in even in boxes. And to put that in our regular trash cans, it's pretty hard. It takes time and it's frustrating to have to cut it up and put it in the trash cans that we have. I'm just wondering if we can, the city can start thinking of putting some kind of a large container in certain areas that the residents can dump big items. I know the county, hopefully in the next couple of years, will do a landfill on County 19, transfer site, actually, transfer site station. But still, it is still far away from it. We need big containers. I know that a lot of commercial or landscapers were dumping their stuff in our regular containers that were out there throughout the city. But because of certain people, I think we can't punish the whole city of Somerton residents. So if you keep that in mind, and hopefully we can get something, you guys think about it and have something in place for large items for the residents. And just one more item, one more thing. I'm glad I saw on the agenda that you're going back and looking at trying to rezone certain parcels there or areas that were previously zoned for housing. I'm glad you're looking at those, and hopefully you guys approve it, and we continue. The city continues growing because we definitely need more housing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public? There's no one. We have one proclamation, Parks and Rec Month.
Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout this country, including City of Somerton. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes health, wellness, and improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, and alleviating illness such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Park and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education and critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas Parks and Recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month. And whereas City of Somerton recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now therefore, I, Gerardo Anaya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, do hereby proclaim that July 2024 is recognized as Parks and Recreation Month in the City of Somerton.
I'd like to call Parks and Rec Director and Parks and Rec Commissioners to come in with Parks and Rec staff all together, issuing the proclamation. We're going to move on to consent agenda. There's two items: check register for the month of June 2024 and approval to purchase safety camera system for Somerton Public Safety Building in the amount of $54,117.10. Does any member of council want to remove an item from consent agenda? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, Mayor.
There's a motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Galindo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have two items in public hearing. The first item is public hearing related to preliminary plat case PLN24-00057. Is there a motion to open public hearing?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Rondan. Second by Councilwoman Delgadillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Saul Albor, Community Development Director. Mayor and Council, the item before you on the agenda is the public hearing related to preliminary plat case PLN 24-0057, a request by Adrian Vega of Dahl, Robbins and Associates on behalf of Western Sands Land, Inc. for the approval of the preliminary plat for Las Estrellas number 7 subdivision, identified as APN 752-30011, a 26.45 acre parcel, more or less, generally located on the northwest corner of County 17th Street and Somerton Avenue. Could you pull up the exhibits, Andrea, please? The location map first. Go back up, please. Actually, that's fine right there. The plat's fine. Mayor and Council, this is a 26.45 acre parcel. It's currently zone R16. So the owner is proposing to subdivide it into a new subdivision to be known as Las Estrellas number 7 subdivision. This subdivision is the seventh phase of the larger Las Estrellas neighborhood. It, as shown, it consists of 104 R16 size lots, meaning minimum 6,000 square feet, which would be similar to the surrounding areas such as the existing Las Estrellas subdivision, Valle del Sol, and Rollo. That's the lot size that is being proposed for this subdivision. Maybe you may be able to tell from the plat that it's generally located on the corner of Somerton Avenue and County 17th Street. So it's right in that south east corner of the Las Estrellas area. Apart from the lots, the owner and developer is also proposing to connect this subdivision into the existing neighborhoods, Las Estrellas Phase 4 and Phase 5. So there'll be connections into the existing neighborhoods as well as a future connection to the north for the future phase of this neighborhood. The developer is also proposing a new right turn lane on Somerton Avenue, as well as additional right-of-way dedication on Somerton Avenue to accommodate a new pathway, and the continuation of the pathway along County 17th Street Canal. Any questions at this point?
Any questions or comments? Continue.
Thank you. So it's a very standard subdivision overall, staff believes. It's the natural progression of Las Estrellas. It's the seventh phase. There's only two parcels left that can be developed. This is the second to last. It provides 104 lots of much needed housing stock to the city. The staff did meet with various stakeholders in this project, and everyone is real excited about the project, particularly the neighbors to the west of this subdivision. They've shown excitement knowing that something's coming, that there'll be a way for them to access Somerton Avenue, because right now to get to Somerton Avenue from the existing Las Estrellas, you have to go onto County 17 and then turn left to go north. So now they'll be able to go through this neighborhood. That was one of the many things that the residents are excited about. The school district, Somerton School District, is very excited about this project. They want to see more kids in Somerton, and with more housing comes more kids. So that was the basis of their support. And staff encountered no objections throughout the course of the case. And on May 20th at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, the commission did vote to recommend approval of preliminary plat case PLN24-00057. So it's a fairly good proposal, staff believes. It's compatible, it makes sense, it's at the right time. Any questions from the council at this point?
Any questions or comments?
If there are no questions from mayor or council, this is just the public hearing, but when we get to the action item of this case, staff's recommendation will be to approve with conditions. And I'd like to go over the conditions of approval with you. That's on Exhibit A, Andrea. So these are the conditions of approval for preliminary plat case PLN24-00057. And condition number 1, the conditions listed below are in addition to city codes, rules, fees, and regulations that are applicable to this action. Number 2, the owner/developer shall dedicate required rights of way along Somerton Avenue and County 17th Street to accommodate development of transportation improvements related to Las Estrellas number 7 subdivision. Number 3, the owner/developer shall improve the adjacent section of multi-use pathway along Somerton Avenue and adjacent to Las Estrellas number 7 subdivision per the standards and requirements of the Somerton Pathway Master Plan. Number 4, the owner/developer shall improve the adjacent section of multi-use pathway along the southeast drain/County 17th Street and adjacent to Las Estrellas number 7 subdivision per the standards and requirements of the Somerton Pathway Master Plan. Number 5, the owner and developer shall provide no less than 1 dedicated southbound right turn lane on Somerton Avenue going into the subdivision as shown in the conceptual plat to be billed per City of Yuma engineering standards. Number 6, the owner/developer shall provide the minimum 5% on-site usable open open space, it should read there, I apologize for the typo, open space requirement of the Somerton zoning ordinance as part of the subdivision improvements. Alternatively, in lieu of the 5% usable open space, the owner/developer may provide off-site lighting fixtures at the existing Las Estrellas Regional Park, and basin fixtures shall match those of the Somerton shared use pathways. Number 7, the owner/developer shall submit to the city of Somerton for review a complete final plat application package for review and approval. Number 8, condition number 7 shall be completed within 2 years of the effective date of the preliminary plat approval. Any questions on the conditions?
Any questions or comments?
Mayor and council, that concludes my presentation. The owner and developer of the project are also present tonight if you have any questions for them. If not, that concludes my presentation.
This is a public hearing. Any member of the public wants to have any questions, comments? There's none. There a motion to close public hearing? So motion by Councilwoman Delgadillo,
Second, Mayor.
second by Vice Mayor Galindo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There's a second public hearing related to rezoning case PLN24-00055. Is there a motion to open public hearing? A motion by Councilwoman Delgadillo,
Second, Mayor.
second by Vice Mayor Galindo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, Saul Albor, Community Development Director. The item before you on the agenda is it's the public hearing related to rezoning case PLN 24-00055, a request by Adrian Vega from Dahl Robbins and Associates on behalf of Western Sandsland Inc. Arizona Corporation to rezone APN 752220022 a 3.583 acre parcel, more or less, from Ag 20 to R15. With lot sizes minimum of 5,000 square feet, generally located near Garvin Street and Somerton Avenue. The purpose of this rezoning is to accommodate the development of Las Estrellas number 8 subdivision. Could you go to the exhibits, Andrea? Mayor and council, this is the subject property that we're discussing. This property is actually just located directly to the north of the phase 7 that we just discussed in the previous public hearing. This is a 35 acre parcel, and unlike the parcel of phase 7, this one's zoned ag and is currently being farmed. So this requires a rezoning in order for them to even submit a subdivision preliminary plat application. But nevertheless, the owner and developer has stated that the intent is to develop a new 200 lot subdivision. The zoning they are seeking is R15, which means they would be able to fit 200 lots on this 35 acre parcel. Could you scroll down, Andrea, to the plat, please? The area outlined in red is Las Estrellas number 8. That is the ultimate use of the property if the rezoning is approved. 200 lot subdivision, R15. These lots are similar to the upcoming Somerton 1898 subdivision. The subdivision would be accessible from the existing phases of Las Estrellas phase 4, and as well as the future phase 7 that we just discussed, as well as Socolo Gardens on Union Avenue there to the north and on Somerton Avenue. So there will be 4 points to access this new subdivision. That was one of the things that we looked at: connectivity, connection, opportunities for both projects, and we felt very confident that this flow as proposed will work. And one of the elements that we were really excited about was the connection to Socolo Gardens, which is where the dog park is at, the Los Perritos dog park. So those residents will have access to this subdivision as well, and vice versa. Although we are just at rezoning, not at preliminary plat, the conceptual design here shows a new right turn lane on Somerton Avenue, southbound right turn lane, and as well as right-of-way dedication along Somerton Avenue and right-of-way dedication to the north of the subdivision where the canal is currently at. There's an irrigation canal that serves this parcel. When this gets developed, that's going to go away, and in its place will be a new walking path. Same, any questions so far from mayor and council?
Any questions or comments? No, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Same as with phase 7, we held the neighborhood meetings concurrently or very close together, and same thing. Adjacent neighborhoods are very excited about the growth, the connections, the fact that these vacant parcels will be developed. School district, same thing. They're very excited. Everyone is been very supportive. We've received no objection to these projects, and staff believes that they are a step towards our goal of bringing more rooftops to the city. So we feel good about this project as well. Any questions from mayor and council?
Any questions or comments?
And same as with the other item, this is just public hearing, but when we get to the action items, staff's recommendation will be to approve with conditions. And I'd like to go over the conditions of approval for this subdivision. Oh, sorry, rezoning. Thank you. Mayor and council, there are less conditions on this one since it's just rezoning. We still have preliminary plat and final plat to go. But for this zoning case, PLN 24-00055, the conditions are as follows. Number 1, the conditions listed below are in addition to city codes, rules, fees, and regulations that are applicable to this action. Standard condition. Number 2 is the owner/developer shall dedicate required rights of way along Somerton Avenue and the county 16.5 alignment, which is the Garvin Street alignment, to accommodate the new multi-use pathway and transportation improvements related to Las Estrellas number 8 subdivision when it gets developed. Number 3 is the owner/developer shall submit to the city of Somerton for review a complete preliminary plat application package prior to submitting to the final plat application package. Number 4, conditions number 2 and 3 listed above shall be completed within 2 years of the effective date of the rezoning ordinance and prior to the issuance of a building permit. Any questions on the conditions?
Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, that concludes my presentation for this item and public hearing, and the owner and developer is present as well if you have any questions for them.
Does any member of the public have any questions or comments? If there's none, is there a motion to close public hearing? So motion by Councilwoman Delgadillo,
Second, Mayor.
second by Councilman Roldán. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna move on to new business. Discussion and possible action to approve rezoning case PLN 24-00055.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, Saul Albor, Community Development Director. The item before you on the agenda is the action item related to the public hearing we just heard for rezoning case PLN 24-00055 for the new, the rezoning to accommodate a 200 lot subdivision in the future. If there are no further questions from Mayor or Council, staff's recommendation is to approve rezoning case PLN 24-00055 with the conditions listed in Exhibit A.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve rezoning case PLN 24-00055?
So move, Mayor.
The motion by Vice Mayor Galindo,
Second.
second by Councilman Castillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Item number 2, discussion and possible action to approve first reading by title only of ordinance number 2024-003.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Saul Albor, Community Development Director. This is the ordinance required to formalize the rezoning of the parcel described as APN 752-22002, excuse me, in the rezoning case and public hearing that we've just discussed. An ordinance is required two readings of an ordinance are required to formalize this rezoning. So tonight, we are asking for approval of first reading by title only.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the first reading by title only of ordinance number 2024-003.
It's a motion by Councilman Castillo,
Second, Mayor.
second by Councilman Roldan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is ordinance number 2024-003, an ordinance of the city of Somerton amending ordinance number 2015-002 and rezoning certain areas in the city for real property described as APN 752-22002, a 35.83 acre parcel, more or less, and more particularly described in Exhibit A attached here to from Ag 20 agriculture minimum lot size 20 acres to R15 single family residential minimum lot size 5,000 square feet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Moving on to item number 3, discussion of possible action to approve preliminary plat case PLN 24-00057.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, Saul Albor, Community Development Director. This is the action item required to approve preliminary plat case PLN 24-00057, the preliminary plat for Las Estrellas Phase 7 subdivision. If there are no further questions, Mayor and Council, staff's recommendation is to approve rezoning case PLN 24-00057 with the conditions listed in Exhibit A.
Any questions or comments?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman Castillo.
So on condition number 4, I mean, just for my sake, I see that the owner developer shall improve the adjacent section of multi-use pathway along the southeast Drain County 17th Street. On that one, you know, if it gets approved right now, when can we expect that to kind of be completed? Like in the middle of you know, like, what is the expected time frame on it to be completed?
Councilmember Castillo, the developer has expressed the desire to start right away.
Okay.
On the improvements. If this is approved, they still got the final plat to go.
Right.
So if they're able to get that approved late this year and start early next year, or even if we're being optimistic, late this year, we could expect sometime next year.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just wanted to, that was the only question that I had. It'll connect almost everything. Good. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
So move, Mayor.
The motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Galindo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council.
Item number 4, discussion of possible action to approve resolution number 2024-012.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Shawna Medell, Finance Director. The agenda item before you is to discuss and possibly approve Resolution 2024-012 to amend the city's Personnel Policy Handbook 2020 by authorizing changes to the position and salary grade schedules. Before you is the position salary grades that we have reclassified. Minimum wage has increased in Arizona over the past couple of years. On January 1st, 2024, it increased from $13.85 per hour to $14.35 per hour. It is anticipated that it will more than likely increase again in January 2025. The proposed salary grade schedule reclassifies the city's approved position grades to avoid any compression issues if or when the minimum wage increases. Along with reclassification of salary grades, we are requesting to add some positions to the schedules. Some of these positions are budgeted positions, which include, if you can go to page Unfortunately, when they were uploaded, they weren't uploaded as budgeted and non-budgeted. So page 25, recycling plant operator, that is budgeted. But we do not have it currently in our salary schedules, our position schedules. Building maintenance technician, that is budgeted. Pool manager for the Parks and Rec department. Recreation aides for the Parks and Rec department. Head lifeguard for the Parks and Rec department. A lifeguard 1 and a lifeguard 2 position, as well as a police detective position. These positions will, with the Parks and Rec department for the lifeguards, as well as the pool head lifeguard and the pool manager, were contracted with positions originally. So to maintain a budgetary stance as far as allocating hours and making sure that all of that is accounted for, it's best to have them as a salaried, as a position in our salary schedules. Recycling plant operator was not a position in the current schedule. And now that we have our recycling plant up and going, that position was budgeted. And then the police detective, we do have a police detective that is operating as an assignment pay position. It's been several years since he's been inquiring those assignment pays. So we do need to apply a police detective position to our salary schedule. Along with the reclassification of the salary grades, we are included in the budgeted positions is a court administrator position, which is a new position, but included in the budget as a judicial assistant with no salary adjustment. If approved, this position will be replacing the judicial assistant position. Following positions are not budgeted. Staff is recommending these positions to be included in our schedule to allow for better structure of our departments in the future. Please be advised that these positions will not be filled unless they are properly budgeted and properly approved by council. And those positions are custodian, Parks and Rec position, an IT network security specialist, an IT network security analyst, city clerk position, IT manager. In closing, these new positions and salary grade schedules will help with better structuring departments and allow for minimum impact for future increases on minimum wage. Does anybody have any questions?
Councilwoman Delgadillo.
Chad, on the schedule that we're looking at, the pool manager and the head lifeguard, so you said those were already in the budget, but it wasn't presented, or I don't understand that.
So they are budgeted in regards to our summer programs. They were contracted positions budgeted. We didn't have a position to fill. They were all lifeguards. So right now they're being classified as all lifeguards and they have a range. So if we have the pool, the head lifeguard, the pool manager, their range is a little bit higher than a lifeguard that's just coming on, that's first hired.
So the head lifeguard and the pool manager are in the same level? Wouldn't the pool manager be in charge of the head lifeguard?
Yes, correct.
So the
But
salaries are the same.
as at this point in time, my understanding, and I can direct you to James, that they don't necessarily have a head lifeguard. They just have a pool manager.
My second question is, you mentioned that the positions that you are presenting are not necessarily in the budget and are not going to be presented until properly approved by council. But if you're presenting it today, that means you're properly asking us to approve it. Is that correct?
So these schedules are schedules that we work with throughout the year. So if these positions are budgeted, then we can authorize to fill them. Just because these positions are attached to these schedules does not mean that we can fill them unless they are properly budgeted or properly approved by council. So
So, but you're presenting it, so then we're properly approving these positions for the future.
for the future, correct?
So when you're saying properly approved, well, isn't that what we're doing today?
No, according to our process, all positions that are filled must be budgeted. So if I do not show, like I separated the two stacks, if I do not show that that position is budgeted, we can't move forward to advertise that position.
So next budget year, if let's say the majority of council said, you know what, no, we're not gonna hire a city clerk,
Mayor, if I may,
the second one on there.
What-
Did we already approve it today, or we're gonna re-look at it and say, we might not approve it next year?
No, the city clerk position is not budgeted for fiscal year 25, but we do have it as a position for the city, within the range and the salary grades. So if we come back and administration comes to us and says, we would like to budget a city clerk, then at that time, we find out what range, so then I can have a properly budgeted amount to bring back to council and state, we have budgeted this new position, this is the range, this is what we're including. At the time of the approval of the budget is when that position can be advertised and filled.
One question. Councilman Villalpando?
no, I just wanted to see if Councilwoman Delgadillo could turn on her mic, because I couldn't make out what she was asking, and I couldn't follow the line of questioning. So I don't know if there's issues with her mic or not.
I think she still needs clarification, right? So you
I
go ahead.
do, and I'm sorry, Mia. My question was on these positions that are presented before us. Chona made a statement that is properly approved by council. So my question is, since it's being presented today, even though we're not advertising this fiscal year or next fiscal year, those positions are, if we approve them today, in the near future, the city manager can come back and say, you know what, we need a city clerk, and it's already there. But I guess I'm just not understanding when we approve it or when we're not approving it. Are we approving it now for the future, or in the future you're bringing it back and we can deny and say, we don't need a city clerk?
So these schedules are only for positions allowed for the city. Does not
So we're
mean,
approving it.
does not mean that they're filled. You are approving the position to be a position for the city.
In the future.
In the future. That's what these schedules are. And to advertise the range of those positions. So if we grade, for instance, the city clerk, we grade it as an 8, you'll go down the grade schedule, and then that will be it. Because we don't have those positions so to grow and to see our future a little better, as far as structure wise in our departments, that's when you'll be able to say that that position is there.
So we can say that the IT network, security specialist, as a council, we can say, no, we don't want that position just yet.
Correct.
We don't have to approve it now. It could be brought maybe in 26 and we'll analyze it then.
If you want to do that, but
Okay.
the approving and to adding of these positions on this schedule does not have any fiscal impact as of right now if they
And
are
the
not
budget.
budgeted.
But it is an approved position that can come
Correct.
back because we already approved it.
So for example, the police department, the position there. So if we approve it, then it's gonna come back to council, or is
Mayor-
that?
That
is that approved?
position was included as budgeted.
So,
That's a position that you guys are already paying a police officer
So that
for.
position already exists.
so to your point,
It
it
does
is
not
being
exist.
approved then, right? Well-
That position does not exist in our schedule.
So that's why you're presenting it now in order for
Correct.
it to exist.
Correct.
So if we deny it, then
Then it wouldn't exist.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman Villalpando.
Okay, of those, Chona, on those that are being requested and are budgeted, is there a pay difference from what they're currently being paid to if approved, would they receive more, additional compensation?
By adding them to these schedules do not have any fiscal impact. It's showing a range. It's adding the position for the availability to fill at some point in time. So as far as adding these positions, no, it does not have the impact. Now, we have budgeted for some of these positions. So some of these positions are budgeted, like I had stated for the detective. You guys are already paying a detective, but he does not have the title as a detective.
Yes, but once he
his
has the
range-
title,
His range is going to be the same. The impact is what his range is what we budgeted for.
what about
guys
for the
are-
court?
The court is the same way. There's no salary change. It's just the position itself.
What about the range?
The range is the same.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
a question, a follow-up on that.
Okay.
So on the judicial assistant, I have the pay grade 19. And for the court administrator, the job description, I have a pay grade of 30. Can you explain? Because you say there won't be an impact or there won't be a difference.
Well, there won't be an impact as far as the fiscal year 25 budget due to the fact that your judicial assistant is at the pay grade in between the judicial assistant and the court administrator. There's no impact on her salary range, her salary as of going forward to fiscal year 25.
But it can,
It can be increased, correct?
okay, so my suggestion or opinion on this, I don't believe we need that jump from judicial assistant to court administrator. I say this because I asked for the job descriptions on judicial assistant and court administrator, and it's a copy and paste, the same duties. This isn't targeted to you.
No. worries.
I'm just saying it, because I don't think we need that position. It's the same duties, it's nothing, like I said, it's copy and paste. There's only one difference in the minimum qualifications on education. But other than that, there is no difference on duties. I went back and researched on Yuma and San Luis. San Luis doesn't have a court administrator, which is a lot bigger, a city that's a lot bigger than ours. Yuma does, but Yuma is a lot bigger and it has legislative actions on their court administrator, and the pay is
Judge Torres is
substantial.
here if you have any questions directly for this
Yeah,
position.
and not just question, I'm just saying that I don't think right now that position is needed, or the reclassification of the position is needed. That's just,
Or to be created, as you're mentioning, right? Because we're creating.
Correct.
yeah, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think it should be. I just think it should stay as judicial assistant being that we're a smaller city.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
I would like to hear from Judge Terrell, the explanation. Can you explain the need of that position, please?
Good evening, Yolanda Valenzuela, Torag, Magistrate. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. The Councilwoman Gonzalez, the description, the job description, you're correct. There's no difference as to the two descriptions. And the reason for that is because a year or so ago, the description of the judicial assistant was changed to reflect what the person performing those duties is actually doing. And is actually performing duties of a court administrator. San Luis Municipal Court does have a court administrator. They just hired someone. Yuma Municipal Court has a court administrator. So if we were to leave the title of the position, that person will be performing duties of a court administrator and pay lower than the position calls for, which it's been since she was hired. This position has been performing the duties of a court administrator with a different title. Before we came to change the description to make it more applicable to the title of the position, we did an assessment as to other positions in other jurisdictions, similar to our jurisdiction in other cities within the state. And what we found is that courts as small as our court have actually a judicial assistant / court administrator, and they were paying accordingly. This employee has been with the court for 12, 13 years and being paid as a judicial assistant. The municipal courts do not have a position of a judicial assistant. The superior courts carry that position because the duties are of an administrative assistant or a secretary for the judge. This position with our court carries those duties plus court administrator duties.
Councilwoman Delaya.
So, Judge, are you replacing, so you will no longer have a judicial clerk assistant anymore? So we're gonna throw that away and we're gonna replace it, and now you're not gonna hire a judicial assistant anymore?
No, I don't need a judicial assistant. The municipal courts, limited jurisdictions do not have judicial assistants. They have clerks and they have court administrators.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And
Councilman Villalpando, go ahead.
thank you, Mayor. How was the pay range determined, Judge?
It was determined in collaboration with the Human Resource Director and with the assessment that we conducted, getting the description of the jobs in other jurisdictions around the state. And, you know, honestly, she became the position that we have now will be getting less pay than most of the positions that we actually study around the state. But that's how we came up with the salary range. And it was mainly human resource that assisted with that.
Well, it's tough for me to answer that one. I think we could go ahead, but pause on the salary range, Mayor, until let's give direction to our city manager to look into it and establish and make sure that that salary range, since our HR director is no longer with us, just to verify that salary range.
Councilman Villalpando, that salary range has been addressed and discussed with the city manager and the finance director and the human resource, and presented also to you guys not too long ago.
For that particular position?
Yes, sir.
We have questions for HR, and HR's not here because the only information that I have is that they've looked at other municipalities, but we don't know which ones they've been compared to in order to establish that salary range. And quite honestly, before, our Judge Figueroa used to serve as the administrator, so he had a dual role. And so that's why it's a little bit difficult, and it's the decision to go this route just because previously the judge also served as a administrator / director of that particular department.
Councilman Villalpando, Judge Figueroa had a court administrator with the title of a judicial assistant, and he knew and he wanted to change it.
Well, He never said anything to us, so I can't even begin to make a comment on what he was doing or what he was not doing, since he says he's no longer with us.
I agree.
Mayor, if I-
Yes.
Uh, so, just by hearing all this, Mayor, I mean, you know, this is the director for our department, and I'm pretty sure they do the due diligence before coming to us, and if they're assuring us that we don't need a judicial person, and we rather need this court administrator, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, every director from every department, you know, especially finance, that get all their, you know, yeah, all the information they needed. I know our human director, you know, it's not here, but, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, everything was done how it's supposed to be. And just by hearing what Judge is saying, you know, it makes sense. I know in very our departments, you know, that there were so many people that there were different titles because they were doing jobs that, you know, it was not part of their job duties, so the titles were changed because of that. And if you know, the judge is telling us that this is what is needed, you know, and then Shona is telling us that it's not going to make an impact in our fiscal year, then, you know, I mean, I'm good with it. You know?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman Castillo.
And Judge, I just for clarification on my end, you did mention that I think the only difference, well, one of the differences was education, right? From the job description, I believe one of the qualifications.
I,
That's what
Councilwoman Garcia.
Councilman Castillo, it was Ms. Gonzalez who brought that up.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say that, education is you know, it's imperative, and you know, to me, that's you know, it's a major thing that, I mean, if we're adding it, but Mayor, overall, you know, I guess my question is maybe for Shona and for the positions that we're looking at. Just for my clarification, the positions that are being proposed right now, I know it won't have a financial impact to our budget this year. However, they are in place in the event that we need them in the future. So if I'm not mistaken, I think in a way these are kind of like our department directors are being proactive by creating these positions in the event that we do need them in the future. And I think once we come back next year to approve a budget, if these positions are added, then it will have a financial impact, and that's where we can kind of decide what's a need or what's a want. Am I correct in viewing it like this, Shona?
Yes, you are correct, Councilman Castillo.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I guess on my end, you know, I'm good to go with the recommendation.
And I think, you know, what I'm taking from the council members' concern is by approving these positions that we're just giving authority to, right now they're keeping, there's no budgetary impact this year, but next year, going from one salary range to the other. So that, I think that's at least, you know, what I'm taking from your concern, Councilwoman Delgadillo, that we are approving it now, but next year can go up to $10,000. So that's your line of questioning. So, you know, maybe we can have, address it that, you know, any, and I don't have the regulations, but you know, what does this do to that concern?
Mayor, just so you understand, you know, Mayor and Council, you approved the budget. So the positions that are already in this budget, which are what Shona had mentioned, and also the ones that are not approved in the budget, the ones that are and the ones not approved in the budget, they have to come back to you. You have to approve that amount, even with the salaries, with the increases. If there was in the budget for the next budget, you would still need to approve that. That would have to be approved by council. if it's acceptable. Now, the salary range, I think that's something we'd have to look at because each, I think it falls under, I believe, the judge and when she looks at salary ranges, that reports to council. So that would be a discussion between the judge and yourselves on regards to those things. But it's up to mayor and council. Those don't have impact. Not too clear. We'd have to double check on the salary range acceptance.
So the
Shona?
salary grade is due to our collaboration of looking through, like, getting comparable cities as far as the range of the positions. So all of this list of positions, they're not all filled. We just have them there. The ranges are allocated accordingly as far as what we see of comparables. And again, as the city manager had stated, you guys see those, like when we went through the work sessions and the individuals of the salaries and why did it jump, and this is why that they're jumping, or we're filling this position. I allocated which positions that we're filling and putting out there. That's information that you're privy to when we do the budget. What happened in the past, I don't know, but our operating process is that these positions are there, and yes, for growth and for more department structure, but we will not fill them unless it is approved by budgetary process.
Mayor, if I may, speaking with legal and kind of reviewing, I do want to point out that the salary range, if it is approved, then it is administratively done. So if that is, I just wanted to make that clear for Councilman Delgadillo. So if the concern is the salary range, that is something that if you decide, then we'd have to come back to you with that information.
Yeah,
So, can we approve what you're presenting? Or can I, as a council member, make a motion to approve what you're presenting without the positions that are not budget, or the new positions? Can we do that? Am I allowed to do that?
So remove the
Like the city
non-budgeted.
clerk, I have the ones that
non-budgeted
don't exist right now.
positions. Okay, yeah, you can make an amendment to whatever.
The positions that do not exist right now. You know, what really worries me is more of like the city clerk. I want more information on that. Why is it needed? Who does those positions now? If we look at $106,000, I understand there's a range. I understand 71 to 106,000, but yet we pay our officers $20 some an hour, but yet we're going to pay a city clerk 71,000 to 106. That's going to impact the budget drastically. And not that I'm saying we don't need a person like that. I'm just saying I'd rather wait until we can address it again. Whenever it's time that we see the growth in our community, in the city, that, the city manager, may it be Louis, may it be somebody else that feels, yeah, we need a city clerk and the city has tripled in its population. We need that person. In my opinion, I would like to approve what's being presented without the positions that do not exist at this moment. Now, looking at the police detective, you're saying that person is doing the job now. He just doesn't have the title, or she doesn't have the title.
Correct.
And there's no impact. They're not going to get a raise. They're not going to.
The problem is their police officer job description does
Doesn't
not
include-
include the duties of detective. Therefore, when you have a detective position and you have that job description in there, you can hold them accountable for their job
Right.
duties on that. At this point in
But they're
time,
doing-
we cannot hold them accountable for detective work due to the fact that it's really not stated in his job description, but he is getting assignment pay. And this has been for several years. And,
Right.
and that's kind of some of the other issues on the job descriptions.
So in other words, they're doing the job, but there's no job description.
Correct.
So like the IT manager, the analyst, the specialist, all of that, we don't have anybody like that now. So Mayor, I think, in my opinion, I would like to wait. I would like to wait until we see the need. And then the city manager, we can bring those back up to us. And if we feel and you feel that it is needed and we need maybe just the analyst instead of the manager or just the manager. And, at that time, that's going to make an impact to our budget and to the taxpayers. And I'd rather wait. And that's my spill on that. Thank you.
Mayor, I have a question. Louis, I know they talk about the city clerk. We have a city clerk, right?
Currently, the city manager is partly the responsibility of the city clerk, but also we have a deputy city clerk, which really has been doing basically the majority of that since I arrived, and it's in the past. So we're looking at that. Again, this position potentially bringing it, talking to mayor and council for 25-26. But just wanted to have that in there. Again, it's conversations I think that can be had. But again, we go back to, we're just trying to prepare for things that we see coming that have been in the works, we believe.
So basically, we're adding those positions so we can have a job description there. In case we ever decide to hire somebody, we still have to approve it as council, but the job description is already there.
That is correct.
So, I mean, if we leave it or take it, it doesn't hurt us today, tomorrow, or because we still have to approve the budget, right? And then, every director has to present and let us know these are the new positions. And then we decide yes or no, but at least we have the job description because we have an employee who's doing a job of a detective and there's no job description there. So I think we're shooting ourselves in the foot if we don't approve this, at least we have somebody or a job description there in case something happens, it's there already. We still have to approve it anyways. So, and I tell you because, my department where we went through that. So I think it's better to be safe than to be sorry later on. Somebody's doing a job that they're not supposed to do for so many years and then come back because there's no job description that is to be done. I mean, I understand we worry about, the budget, but, we have our finance manager telling us it's not going to hurt us. It's not going to do anything. And at the same time, they're being proactive and presenting this. We have a job description there. If they want it for next year, we're going to approve it next year. If we don't, then we don't approve it. And this is going to be every year, every budget is the same thing. You guys present to us, this is, I want a new position. Okay, we say, yeah, then it is. If it's not, it's not. So I think just for now, just having it there for the job description, I think it's not going to hurt us in any way. We still have, you guys are still going to come to us for approval anyways.
Correct.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman Villalpando.
And I'm pretty much on the same boat as Councilman Roldan. I don't think it's going to hurt us. I think we do need to be cautious when we're assigning pay ranges. And without the parties that took the lead, there's questions that need to be asked. Like what cities did they compare us to? Because obviously. Councilwoman Gonzalez did some research. San Luis doesn't have one. So what were they comparing us to? Were they purposely finding some in order to have a number? I mean, it's all those type of questions. So for me, creating the positions and proceeding, I'm okay with it, except for the salary ranges. I think the salary ranges, there's still some questions, and there might be some tweaking in those salary ranges.
Okay, so bringing the salary ranges in the future, but approving the positions and
Correct.
maybe those new ones that take a
The ones that
closer
are
look at
not budgeted, Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, they're not budgeted, so they can't fill them.
I think what we may be able to do, Mayor and Council, if it's your approval, is we can approve that with the condition that those salary ranges will need to come back for approval. Basically, I think what Councilman Villapando was saying, that we'll approve the positions, but the salary ranges that are presented have not been accepted, and with the condition that they come back to be accepted.
Just for clarification, are we talking about all the
No,
positions?
No.
Just the ones that are not approved. I mean, that's budgeted.
They're not that filled, yeah. They're not budgeted, yeah.
Okay.
If that would be okay with Mayor and Council. That would be
Oh,
maybe approving it.
And even also the ones that are budgeted, but their salaries aren't changing right now. We need to take a closer look at those as well. You know what I mean?
Or we already did during the budget.
Yeah. Just FYI, Mayor, I'm sorry. Just, the county just recently did a study for the salaries. And it cost about $7 or $8 million because they were underpaid. So, just, if we're gonna do something, then just.
No, yeah, but
'Cause,
I agree. We need to look at it right away because we've said it before. We're dealing with compression, and I feel that we're moving these salary ranges back and forth so much without clarity of whether we're going to address compression or not. I'm sure that employee at the court was being underpaid. They might have been maxed out. I don't know. But there has to be some additional compensation. But what's that amount? That's where I'm trying to get to.
Okay.
Because obviously we have a budget. We just can't give somebody $30 an hour and ignore everything else that we have going on.
And the process for making that administrative change for salaries usually goes through me first, due to the fact that I need to allocate and make sure that they are within their budget constraints for any increases. So just to let you know that that is the process that we have right now.
No, yeah, and you know what, Shona, you've been doing an excellent job. I have no complaints whatsoever. But I look at it as the city as a whole, and we're focusing on some particular positions when we know we need it across the board. So I think it's something that we need to look across the board even if it's in small increments, but it needs to be looked at because our employees deserve that extra money that for some reason we just never really looked at, and compression is on us.
Thank you, Councilman Villapando. With this, it could be an annual thing that we bring back and do bring back in increments, because the grades are where the salary range is going to be distributed. So the grade on page 4 and 5. So we assign a grade to each position. So those can be looked at on an annual basis and presented in the work sessions when we're doing budgetary, so that these questions can be answered at that time.
Yeah, in the past, when we've seen that we've had several meetings to look at it and go back and forth. And I think the concern is just having it together with the budget and, because there's always been those concerns that we're all into, okay, let's promote, but let's look at the qualifications and see if that existing person meets that salary, that job description that we're asking. Does that person have the certifications? and it's always so, this is always just the council has looked at it, but it's gone through several iterations and that's where the concern, I think, is that, in the past, we've had, some, all of a sudden, some certain people just getting raises and the rest not, so that's the concern that.
And I think that that is pertinent for those job descriptions
Yeah.
and the duties of the job descriptions to be allocated to these position schedules due to the fact that we want those qualifications there. We want those qualifications labeled there so that we know that they're hitting all of their milestones in that job description. So.
So Jonah or Louis, I agree, with what Council and Roldan is saying, but back to my question again to both of you. So 2026 comes around and the city manager feels that we need to hire, and I'm saying city clerk because it's there, right? City clerk. Does the city manager have to come back to us and request that position,
Yes,
even though we already have a job description?
yes, because right now, currently standing, it is not budgeted.
No, I understand that. But once we approve it, you can put it in the budget.
No. Well,
For
once you,
26
for
factor,
26,
yes.
yeah, we'll come back to you. But like any other item on the budgetary, it's a line item. So if you feel that that position is not ready to be filled, or you feel that the explanation or the justification of that position should not be filled, you can remove it.
Including the salary.
Correct,
We can lessen the salary.
correct. Or, well, you can say, I want a city clerk, and we put the position for the amount, and you say, I don't want that amount, I want
Minimum.
minimum of that salary grade.
Mhm.
We're more than,
Okay.
yeah,
Even though the job description says level
that
30
it goes to 100
to
and
scale
something.
30, we can go
Correct.
back to scale 5.
Correct.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a
Mayor, I'll
motion
make the-
to, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'll make the motion to approve all the positions and to wait on the classification of the pay grade.
Just one question, Mayor.
Yeah.
So now, part of this also is to move up the minimum salary, right?
The compression issues, correct.
Because now we're paying less than what it's supposed to be, or?
Well, we
For
don't
the
want to,
minimum.
we don't want to,
Yeah.
so this year,
Oh, okay.
it fell that our grades were so compressed. So we were not paying, like the minimum wage people, we had to increase them. But then you had people that were underneath them, that they were getting paid more. So we had to increase so budgetary standpoint, it makes it a little difficult, because now instead of increasing 10 employees, we're increasing 25, 30. So
And budget wise, we're good?
Yeah.
Everything is good?
right
okay.
now it is, yeah.
So if we don't approve the salary schedule, does it do anything with that?
Yes.
It leaves it to the old salary schedule, and then if they increase it this fiscal year, I mean, this
No wonder
coming
either.
calendar year, then we'll do the same thing.
Mayor, legal has some explanation to provide.
Yeah, I just, Mayor and Council, I wanted to chime in on the motion to make sure we understand what the intent is. So, Council Member, I know you were making a motion to approve with the exception of the grade. And I want to clarify if the intent was with the exception of the salary range, because it sounded like, but maybe I'm misunderstanding, that your goal was to say, let's go ahead and approve basically the job descriptions. We'll get that approved in the resolution, but we would basically take out that range and bring that back at a future time for council to set those ranges. But I may be misunderstanding.
No,
so
that's
I wanted to clarify.
correct. You
Okay.
explained it a heck of a lot better than I did.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
And Mayor and Council, just for the record, to make sure you understand, because I pulled up your rules. So your personnel rules, council sets that starting salary plan. So if you're not ready to do it tonight, you can certainly start down the process, approve these positions, and then come back, whether it's all the salary plans come back or just the new budgeted ones, that's up to whatever a majority want. So that, and council, your policies provide that you will approve that salary plan on an annual basis as part of the budget adoption process, so you can keep reviewing, checking market rates and seeing how you're doing. But let me know if you have any other questions. But if you want to keep the motion, you might want to amend it to be without the salary range.
Okay, yes, I'll amend my motion not to include the salary range, to approve, not to include the salary range.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Gonzalez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Say
Nay.
Nay.
I would like to make a motion to approve as presented, since every year, we'll be approving, the budget, like they was explained, there's the new positions or the positions that added are not gonna be filled, unless, because they're not budgeted. So I would like to make a motion as presented.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 5, discussion of possible action to adopt tentative budget for fiscal year 2025.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, Chona Madel, Finance Director. The agenda item before you is to discuss and possibly adopt the fiscal year 2025 tentative budget. State law requires that on or before the third Monday in July of each fiscal year, the City Council adopts a tentative budget. Once the tentative budget has been adopted, the expenditures may not be increased upon final adoption. However, they may be decreased. The council has set its maximum limits for expenditures, but these limits may be reduced upon final adoption. A public hearing will be held at the next council meeting for the purpose of determining the adopting and estimates of proposed expenditures for the various proposed and set forth in these schedules. The tentative budget has an overall decrease of $14,220,446, which is partly due to major CIP projects completed in fiscal year 2024. This year's budget focuses on more efficient planning and spending for all departments. We have gone over the detail of these figures included in these worksheets during several work sessions in the past months. But some of the major CIP projects included in the fiscal year 2025 budget includes completion of Paracone Park improvements, Joe Munoz parking lot pavement improvements, youth center improvements, Centennial Park fencing, and renovations of animal control kennels. Staff is requesting a motion to approve and adopt the fiscal year 2025 tentative budget. Do we have questions?
Any questions or concerns?
I have a concern
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
on the budget for mayor and council. I don't know if we can, because I know you said we can decrease,
Correct.
not increase, but for the ¿cómo se llama? Retirement
Correct.
portion of it, I would like either to remove or separate discussion on that. I just think it's too much to be added to our to our portion, or to add to the budget, actually. So
Councilwoman Gonzalez, that is a line item in your budget that made it increase almost 90% of your budget. There is, for next council meeting, there is a resolution to get more accurate numbers, an actuated value,
We can review it
so
then.
that we can get that prior to committing to go into the retirement for the elected officials. So therefore, it's a line item. If we do not use it, it can be reallocated and amended as far as the budget and maybe used for other projects that we have. But it is my recommendation, it's the line item stay in there until you get the actual
Okay,
figure.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, the way I see it is like when we're expecting a grant and we have to budget it, but if we don't get it, or similar to this, if this comes out too high when we get the actuary, then we.
Yeah, that was my
concern. Yeah.
I didn't know if we had question and remove it now or what. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I could barely hear Councilwoman Gonzalez. Can we make sure, is her mic on?
I just turned it off. It was on.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Make a motion to approve
There's a motion by Councilman Roldan, second by Councilwoman Delgadillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Yep, opposed, motion carries. Item number 6, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-015.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members, Chona Madell, Finance Director. This is a resolution 2024-015. It's a resolution of the City Council of the City of Somerton, Arizona, designating myself, Chona Madell, as the Chief Fiscal Officer for officially submitting the fiscal year 2025 expenditure limitation report to the Arizona Auditor General. ARS 41-1279.07E requires each county, city, town, and community college district to annually provide to the Arizona Auditor General by July 31st the name of the Chief Fiscal Officer and governing body designated to officially submit the current year's annual expenditure limitation report on the government's body's behalf. Staff is requesting an approval for this resolution.
Any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-015.
So motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Delgadillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, discussion and possible action to adopt fiscal year 2024 and 2025 public safety personnel retirement pension funding policy.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, Chona Madell, Finance Director. This is discussion and possible action to adopt the fiscal year 2024 and 2025 public safety personnel retirement system pension funding policy, which is PSPRS. This is an administered as an agent multi-employer pension plan. An agent multi-employer pension plan has 2 main functions: to commingle assets of all plans under its administration, thus achieving economy of scale for more cost-efficient investments, and invest those assets for benefit of all members under its administration. 2, serve as a statewide uniform administrator for the distribution of benefits. Under the agent multi-employer plan, each agency participating plan has the individual trust fund reflecting that agency's assets and liabilities. And under this plan, all contributions are deposited to and distributions are made from that fund's assets. Each fund has its own fund ratio and contribution rate. Each fund has a unique annual actuary valuation. The City of Somerton has 3 trust funds, 1 for the police, 1 for the fire, and 1 for the dispatcher employees. The intent of this policy is to clearly communicate the council's pension funding objectives and its commitment to our employees and the sound financial management of the city to comply with new statutory requirement laws, 2018, Chapter 112. This funding policy is required to be adopted each year. So this policy has been a finding on our audit since 2021 and has not been updated. It was actually also another finding this past fiscal year. It was rolled over. I did some research and collaborated with some of the people that I had met at some of our conferences and got the funding policy. I would like to approve, or I'm requesting for approval for fiscal year 2024 as well as 2025. 2024 due to the fact that we won't have the finding on this upcoming audit. Any questions?
Any questions or comments? There a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Vice Mayor Galindo,
Second.
second by Councilman Roldan, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank
Shawna,
you.
for getting that straight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 8, discussion and possible action to award Yepes Enterprises for the installation of iron fence at Centennial Park with the amount of $50,480.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. James Jones, Parks and Rec Director. The item before you is the Centennial Park Fence Project, which is installed 350 feet of wrought iron fence with gates at each entryway with a special design to celebrate and provide historical relevance of Somerton. The goal of this project is to provide privacy and for rentals and events at Centennial Park. The project was advertised through the RFP process with Park Manager Rodney Reinhardt making cold calls to local fence companies. We received one bid from Yepes Enterprises. Yepes Enterprises presented a bid of $43,680, which included the 350 feet of wrought iron fencing and posts every 8 feet apart. They gave us an additional option of galvanized steel for $3,600 and powder coating for $3,200. Adding these options would help with the longevity of the fence and protecting the paint of the fence. So the total bid with these options came to $50,480. The total budget for the entire project was $70,480. After this project, the Parks and Recreation requests the remaining $20,000 to be used for upkeep of existing lights and possible improvements to lighting at Centennial Park. The staff recommends approval to award Centennial Park fence project to Yepes Enterprises for a total of $50,680, and the remaining $20,000 be used for light maintenance and improvements.
Any questions or comments?
I think that's the first that we got under budget. So we're always over budget or something happens. Good job. I'll make a motion to approve the bid for what was the name? Yepes
Yepes Enterprises.
Enterprise.
So motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Galindo, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 9, discussion of possible action to approve purchase of 2 Ford Escapes for $67,310.
Mayor, good evening. Council, good evening. Araceli Juarez, Chief of Police. I'm bringing before you an item that I had brought back in March 5th of 2024, where council had kindly approved for the police department under DEMA grant, 2 vehicles to be purchased in the amount of $75,810. Those vehicles were 2 vehicles of the year 2023 Chevy Traverse. We weren't able to secure those due to the high demand that has been happening throughout the United States. So we are coming before you today again in hopes that you will approve 2 vehicles that are year 2024 Ford Escape for purchase in the amount of $67,310 and $8,500 amount less than the previous one approved. We're hoping that these vehicles, because they are under a grant for DEMA, and that DEMA grant is intended for the purpose of the detectives' use and as well as border security use. We're hoping that you will approve them. They will be replacing, within time, they'll be replacing 2 2010 vehicles that we have reaching 200,000 miles of use for the city that were brought from out of state. Those are gonna be 2 Dodge Chargers. That's all I have at this time, unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
So move, Mayor.
So motion by Councilwoman Delgadillo,
Second, Mayor.
second by Vice Mayor Galindo, those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
We're gonna discuss the last item in executive session. So we're gonna go to summer current events and then move to executive session.
All right, thank you, Mayor. First, we have Saul Labor. Community Development.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, Saul Albor, Community Development Director. I have some good news regarding some of our construction projects. The building permits for both the Sunset Health Clinic and the old City Hall have been issued as of today. So those major commercial projects are moving forward. That's all I've got.
Good news. That's great enough.
Juarez.
Mayor and Council, good evening. Araceli Juarez, Chief of Police. I have some more good news. The auction went very well over the past week and a half. We were able to auction off 13 vehicles in the amount of 17,885. Among those vehicles were 9 cars and 3 motorcycles. The motorcycles will be the last vehicles that will be picked up tomorrow morning. And some of these vehicles are going to Colorado and other ones are going to the city of Maricopa. So they'll be moving around. We've taken, it's sad to see, Mayor, to take off the striping of the motorcycles, and I'll send you a picture tomorrow when they leave because it's hurting my heart, but it's good news. We're getting some money out of that one. We're also getting some RICO funding, which will be money that that goes back to the county attorney's office fund to continue to help us during narcotic investigations. The second good news that I have is that on July 23rd at 11 a.m., the Somerton Police Department will be holding a movie, some sort of public engagement for our children. And we'll be running the movie Luca. So hopefully if you have time, you can come see us. Walmart has been very generous, and they donated to us soccer balls, basketballs, a couple bicycles. So we'll be raffling that out to the children. And the last thing, which is another good news, is that we have one cadet in the academy. He's here at locally at AWC. I'm not sure on the number of the students that they have at this time, Mayor, but I can tell you that our cadet is the highest in every single test that he's got. He's scoring 97, 98. So we're anticipating that he's going to be our academic award. Hopefully that happens. That's a good news. Thank you.
Public Works, Charles Gutierrez.
More good news,
Have
Charles.
good news, Charles. Don't break the cycle.
Don't let him beat you, Charles. Don't let him beat you.
Down then. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Charles Gutierrez, Public Works Director. Some good news. Cesar Chavez, Rollo County 17 pathways have been cleaned. We have installed benches and trash cans out there on County 17th Street. The pathway will be installing some lights by mid-October or mid-August. Okay, here was a hard one. As you all are aware, we had 2 major water breaks this past week. Bingham in 12th place, there's a road closure, still a road closure. They're going to be lifting the road up tomorrow. They're going to be looking at it. It started waving last night. Overnight, the heat hit it really hard, started cracking the ground. We talked to Allo this morning. We had a meeting with them, and their contractor will be opening up a 10-foot by about a 30-foot swath of property there and inspecting it under the ground. And if it is wet, they're going to be replacing a lot more than what they think. They'll be doing that tomorrow. The second water break was over here on Jefferson at the middle school. Leo and his crew took care of all that yesterday, and that's all I have to report.
The good
Thank
news
you.
is it wasn't our fault.
Thank you.
Parks and Rec, James.
James Jones, Parks and Rec Director. Community Center remodel has been completed for the bathroom. That's open to the public. We've finished installing the electrical outlets and for the bottom of the palm trees at Centennial Park, and new AC units were replaced at the youth center. So we got that done. Current youth summer programs, our swimming lessons are going, folkloric camp is going, summer camp is going, along with our basketball league and our t-ball league. Write this down. Senior Center July birthday celebration is next Wednesday from 10:30 to 12. So I expect you guys all there dancing. And the last thing I would like to share is I want to say a big thank you to Somerton Police, Fire, and Public Works for helping the Parks and Rec at the 4th of July celebration. It was a lot of fun, well attended, And I appreciate all the help from the other departments and making it run smoothly. As long as my department.
And then Chief Hernandez, Fire Department.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I do have good news. So on my monthlies, I've been reporting on the Zero to Hero program. And I would like to report that all 3 cadets have finally passed their state testing. So they're all 3 firefighter state certified. So it's a good program. And like I said, all 3 completed their certifications. And then also, I just want to continue letting the public know that we have that heat warning going on right now. And just to make sure that they hydrate. I want to report last month, we had 5 incidents related to heat incidents. So we just kind of like the community, especially our elderly, that they can contact the Regional Center for Border Health for cooling centers. And also they can contact the fire department. Thank you.
Mayor, that's all we have.
Councilman Villalpando.
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Castillo.
Just want to thank staff for their hard work and everything on the 4th of July event. I saw videos. I wasn't able to make it there. I had already planned a scheduled family trip. But I saw great videos, so heard that everything went well. So thank you, staff, for all your hard work and everything. So that's all I have, Mayor.
The video I saw is you getting in front of an airplane. Be careful. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Reiterate what Councilman Castillo said. I wasn't able to make it either, but I did see pictures and I saw that it was very well attended. Thank you, staff. Everyone involved. Our 4th of July is usually very well attended, so thank you. Also, the county is going to do a back to school vaccine event, July 18th at the Cultural Center from 3 to 6. Everybody and anybody is welcome. They'll do general vaccines, hepatitis, and COVID boosters. That's it.
Councilwoman Delgadillo.
I too want to thank staff, police, fire, everyone that made this great 4th of July possible, even though I was there by myself. I want to make that note. Louis, yes. Thank you, Louis, for going upstage with me. But
Villalpando was there, but
yes, Miguel. Councilmember Villalpando, I have beef with him, so I'll address that with him later. Thank you for your hard work. There was just massive people there, and which is, as Councilwoman mentioned, it's always well attended. I wish I would have seen Michael Jackson as the video that was promoted, but it was great. We knew all the songs. It was great. It was great. Thank you so much for the hard work. I also want to publicly thank Louis and Charles and your team for addressing a concern that one of the elders from the city of Somerton had in her home. And so thank you for addressing that and helping her with that. So thank you. That's all I have.
I asked the city manager if we can get a 6-month report on any calls of the asylum seekers for the last 6 months. Sent it to council. With election going on, it's going to be a hot topic, and we're going to be asked that. They like to use our border communities as the political season. So at least if we can get some accurate statistics on how much the city of Somerton has been spending on emergency calls and stuff like that, because for sure we're going to be asked, so we're prepared. So, and also I want to thank staff and finance, especially for all your hard work on the budget. I know it was hard. You had to piece everything together and just try to figure out what was going on. So thank you very much. I think for what it's worth, it went smooth and smoother than other years. So thank you. And staff, the 4th of July, from what I saw, it was great event. Water balloon fight, everything. So, thank you. I also heard about Michael Jackson that it's needed, yeah, so, but, yeah. And with the start of the fiscal year, I just want to remind, you know, Louis and staff on, you know, it's always, we see that budget is a tug of war, and for approving projects, especially capital improvement projects, there's always, and you know, this last year, there were some that were started half of the year and even, you know, 3/4 of the year. So hopefully we're mindful of what the budget process is, and if we, you know, we can start those projects as soon as possible, because yeah, those monies are always hard to allocate. So hopefully that's paid attention to. So we're gonna have a 5-minute break and then. Oh,
Just because of the mustache, no se mean you can't let it.
yeah, so you've been making fun of my mustache. I was waiting, expected. Councilman Roldan.
Just, I saw the video that Parks and Rec put together, and it was nice, the different stages dancing and so forth, and probably we can have the director next time so he can jump in the pool too. And the same, you know, 4th of July, I think, as a matter of fact, one called me today, and they said that it was nice because he get to go to different places, and at the same time, he can also come to Somerton. So it was good that we did it on a different day, and it was on the weekend, so even better. So thank you, staff, for all that. So, man.
Last, no, 2 weeks ago, I attended the YMPO Executive Board meeting, and I was invited to go to a conference to the Arizona RTS and Rosen Street, but, you know, I have 2 things to do in the end of August and then in September, so I won't be able, but I talked to Louis, and then I guess it would be nice if Charles attend those conferences. There's a lot of money coming from the governors and up in Washington, and we have to be on top of those for the corridor and from the new port of entry. So Charles, you're invited.
Mayor, if I may. I want to let the vice mayor know that Councilman Villapando is the alternate, and he'll be attending also.
Okay,
So we have
sounds-
Charles and Councilman Villapando attending.
Sounds good. And
We got
if
you
he can-
covered.
And if he can attend the next meeting, then the last Thursday, Miguel, the last Thursday of the month, because I'm gonna be out of town. Thank you, Miguel.
So yeah, we're gonna have a 5-minute break and then get executive session, huh? Yeah, we're gonna come back.
To make a motion, though?
Okay. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So.
A motion by Councilwoman Delgadillo, second by Councilman Roldan. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Also, that's good, porque no. Yeah, I left my cell phone up there.
Hey, Mayor, so what do I do here? Do I disconnect?
So you know how the people were, okay, así, like this, like.
Today was Shona and
And over here.
Saul show or what? Huh?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor, Council. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Dejaste caer, Saúl. Thank you.
Thank you.
Grow.
It's gonna be good.
Motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second, Mayor.
second by Vice Mayor Galindo, those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So, we're gonna go back to item 8.10, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-016.
So Mayor, at this time, staff recommendation is to move forward with providing an extension for Mr. Haxon at the old City Hall.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second, Mayor.
So motion by Vice Mayor Galindo, second by Councilman Roldan, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. It's 9:08, meeting's adjourned.
La mía, mi junta duró como 15 minutes.
No, era nomás.